Howdy, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back. Thank you very much for shooting in. Joining a fella here for another live one, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live, episode 182 here today. Sunday, August 2nd, 2026, just a wee bit past 5 p.m. local time, mountain time. As always, we're coming at you live from the foothills of the mountains, the Canadian Rockies there, buddy? Right here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada land. Thank you very much for winding down your weekend here. Beautiful day, a little windy, a little breezy. Not uncommon this time of year as we get into July and August. It gets hot and dry. All the moisture we had from the winter, and then in the spring is pretty much gone. It's drier than a popcorn fart, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, this time of year it tends to get windy. We get tornadoes. We've had over 30 in the month of July touchdown. Some bigger than others, some out in the middle of nowhere and not really causing damage in terms of people's homes and whatnot. The wildfires are taking care of that on their own. So wherever you are, I hope you're safe and sound and doing well. As mentioned, lovely day here today. 25 degrees Celsius, around 80-ish, 82-ish, something like that, Fahrenheit. We're coming out of a heat wave. And we're going to go back into a heat wave once this wind settles down. Take it down. Settle down now. But for now, it's blustery and warm and dry and, all that good stuff. But I'll take it while it lasts. As a Canadian, you're just counting down days till it gets, cold and winter. So as mentioned, I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for being here for the Sunday live show. Episode 182 here today. I hope you enjoy. This is going to be a nice one. I like this series. This is the Old World on Celluloid. And for this evening's show, we're going to be looking at the obscuring of the Old World on film with 1993's In the Line of Fire. With Clint Eastwood there, As always, links below for everything we're going to cover on the show, as well as how you can get a hold of a fella. Email, BitChute, Insta. I'm on the Instagram there now. Been there for a few months. It's all right. It's fun. I love posting stuff on there. Like short little reels and stuff, or photos when I'm oot and a boot doing my thing. And of course, the link for my channel over on Rumble. As always, we're broadcasting live here simultaneously on Rumble and YouTube. So thank you very much for winding down your week with yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day show there, Woo! Woo! Orphan Annie is here. Hello, Annie. Good to see you. Hiya, hippie. Hippie shake in the box. Unfree Mason is here. Hey, Frankie. I took up smoking along with the rest of Calgary. That's Cousin Vinny. It's Cousin Vinny over here. Yeah, it's the air quality. It's a little smoky. Fires in Alberta, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, I believe. Of course, Ontario. Ontario is real bad. It's always bad. So yeah, be careful out there, people. Be careful. There's Russell. Russell is here. Good to see you, bud. Paul Thaddeus over on Rumble. Hello. Good to see you. Channel 53 is here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Eastwood myself. This is not one of his greatest, going for an operation. And I have to babysit for him. He's leaving at 5:30 in the morning. Be back. Well, thank you for the heads up. Thank you very much. Good luck to your bro. Hopefully everything goes smooth. It's smooth sailing. You know, everybody send Hippie's brother some good vibes. Plain spoken Jane is here. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday to you. So far, so good, Jane. Thank you. So far, so good. So as mentioned, we're going to be looking at In the Line of Fire. Similar to the old world of music, Clues and the Blues, that we do here on the Sunday live show once in a while. This is just sort of seeing, in this case, rather than hearing, hints of the old world. And if you're anything like I am, I'm sure that once your eyes have been opened and you've become awake or more aware of, you know, the fact that our past has been hidden from us, our history is his story, and how things have been, you know, half-truths peppered with lies, you know, things have been obfuscated. Language is getting more and more simplified so that it's easier and easier to control. And going hand in hand with that, I, as many of you, I'm sure, see it in movies all the time. You're watching some movie, it just could be some random movie, new movie, something from the 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever. You see things in the background, buildings, or me more often than not, I notice what we like to term as old world buildings in the background on movies. So that's kind of what spawned this whole series here on the live show. I think this is the 5th or 6th one now. And as always, it was just, I was watching a movie and just noticing all these buildings in the background. Of course, they just jumped right out at the guy, you know, they just practically slapping me in the face. You know, howdy, Bradley. Good to see you. There's Ross. Water the tree in the box. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Yeah, sometimes you become lost in the background, or you notice something. So then for the rest of the movie or the film or the television show or whatever it is, now you're scanning the background rather than paying attention, even if it's more of on a subconscious level. So it was almost a couple of weeks ago now. My bro and I were watching In the Line of Fire. It was some kind of re-release where it's been bumped up to high def, you know, yada, 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 improved sound and picture quality and all that stuff. My bro's very good at sailing the high seas of digital piracy, if you know what I'm saying. So as a result, beep, boop, beep, beep, bop, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, beep. And then next thing you know, we're watching it. And we've got a projector TV with a big screen. We could watch this thing on like a big, massive screen. So it's great for certain movies. You know, you get the nice sound system, and that way you don't have to go to the theater necessarily all the time and have to deal with a bunch of mouth breathers that are going to be coughing on the back of your neck while you're trying to enjoy a film or messing around on their phones or whatever, right? Not to mention paying $20 just to get in, get a ticket to see the place. Then if you want to get something at the snack bar, there's another 20 or $30. Forget about it. Stay at home, pop your own popcorn or whatever, have your own snack of your choice, and you know, kick it and chill. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I'm a filthy smoker. So, you know, I could just have a cigarette whenever I want while I'm sitting in the comfort of my own home enjoying a film. So, this is something we try to do together once a week or so. You know, so we watched In the Line of Fire, and I'm, of course, noticing all this stuff. So I thought, you know what? Matter. I got to share this with the good people. So, of course, I went and I found a couple of sites related to the movie itself. So I think, as per usual, what I might do initially here is we'll just quickly have a look at a few things in terms of the background, and then we'll get into a little bit of it. We'll take a mid-show break, and then when we come back, we'll wrap it up because I've got some locations. I found a website that's got specific locations with addresses. So I thought we could open up the goggle machine and drop the little man down and walk up and down the street and maybe a couple of the adjacent streets, adjoining streets, what have you, from some of these film locations. Now we're going to have fun with this thing. It's going to be having a closer look at stuff that I noticed in the background. We're not necessarily going to be looking at, the Capitol buildings and the White House and all the big state buildings down there in Washington and the symbology within the street layout where it's shape of an owl and a square and compass and all. Yeah, there's channels that have been there, done that, and could do that way better than this Canadian yokel redneck. I'm just going by, again, the stuff that you notice in the background, and then it becomes distracting to the point where it actually might even ruin the movie for you. Again, not that this is one of his Oscar-winning roles or anything like that. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not his best. In fact, let me just open up the IMDb here and see what they say about it. All right. So that's got a 7.2 out of 10. I guess it's not bad. It's a pretty popular movie. So Secret Service agent Frank Horrigan couldn't save Kennedy. That's John F. Kennedy, that is. But he's determined not to let a clever assassin take out this president. Oh, Wolfgang Peterson directed. Oh, there you go. Written by Jeff McGuire, stars Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich. I'm John Malkovich. And Renee Russo, the lady that has a chin like a professional boxer. She's got an iron jaw. Is that the expression? Anyways, let's go down to the synopsis storyline here. So Frank is a Secret Service agent who keeps thinking back to November 22nd, 1963, when, as a hand-picked agent by President JFK himself, he became one of the few agents to have lost a president to an assassination when Kennedy was delated. Now, former CIA assassin Mitch Leary. Where did they come up with these names? You can't come up with something better than Frank Horrigan and Mitch Leary. Like it's like they've tried too hard to sound legit, and it ends up sounding phony. Anyway, he's stalking the current president, played by Jim Curley, who is running for re-election. Oh, sirens in the back. A live show here on the New West Reset channel without hearing some sirens in the background. Fire engine, great. Hopefully everybody's all right. Anyways, Mitch has spent long hours studying Horrigan, and he taunts Horrigan, telling him of his plans to delete the president. Leary plans to assassinate. I gotta watch what I say. I'm sorry. I know it's childish, stupid, but it is what it is. Welcome to the fun of being online in Canada-Nadia land. Anyway, because Leary feels betrayed by the government. Leary was removed from the CIA, and CIA is now trying to have him deleted. Talking to Leary, Horrigan makes sure he is assigned to presidential protection duty, working with fellow Secret Service agent Lily Raines. It also sounds so made up. Played by Rene Russo. Horrigan has no intention of failing his president this time around, and he's more than willing to take a bullet. White House Chief of Staff Harry Sargent, played by Fred Dalton Thompson, refuses to alter the president's itinerary, while Horrigan's boss, Secret Service Director Sam Campagna, played by John Mahoney, is supportive of Horrigan. Buonasera, Roberto. How you doing, Robert? Good to see you. Hello, hello. I agree. John Malkovich, usually, if he plays the bad guy, he's a good bad guy, for sure. He's actually a good actor, you know. But I think it's because he's kind of half crazy, and oftentimes the half crazy ones seem to be really good. As the election gets closer, Horrigan begins to doubt his own abilities, especially when Horrigan's colleague, Al DeAndre, played by Dylan McDermott, is deleted by Leary. But Horrigan may be the only one who can stop Leary. So it's an action crime drama thriller. Rated R. Trivia. The 62-year-old Clint Eastwood, with the help of a safety belt, actually did hang 6 stories above the ground on the ledge scene, although stuntmen did the jump and fall into the fire escape. Well, yeah, they're not going to toss Clint Eastwood off the roof of a building just to get the shot. We better get the shot. Let's give him the shot. See, this is in a point in Clint Eastwood's career where he's doing more directing than acting. And he's become aged at this point, right? 93, he's in his, his 60s? He's not an old man, but he's coming along. He's along, you know. Been in the business since the 1950s. He started off as a model, a men's swimsuit model. Then he was on shows like Rawhide, you know, old black and white Western shows, and the odd Western movie. He managed to transition out of the spaghetti Westerns, if you didn't know, into, you know, these Dirty Harry, these gritty cop drama, action dramas in the 70s and 80s. You know, the Dirty Harry stuff, right? Really good stuff, actually. But this acting career, he's starting to get a little bit aged to be a believable tough guy, right? Every tough guy actor at some point, you know, it's like, really, Pops, you're not whooping my ass, right? You know, you might get a couple of shots in because you're Clint Eastwood and you're tall and you got to reach and you know how to box, but you know what I'm saying? But he's not quite old enough yet to play the wise old sage type wise man, or the crotchety old man. Now he plays the crotchety old man and plays it perfectly, great, beautifully. Chef's kiss. The ornery old sumbitch, you know. But at this point in his career, in the early to mid 90s, he's still way too young to play crotchety old man, but he's getting too old to play tough guy. So this was a great role for him in the sense that the character in the movie is too old to be on presidential duty running alongside the vehicle like they do in these parades and presidential appearances like we see here in this photograph on the Wikipedia page. So it plays to, you know, it was 30 years ago with Kennedy, and you couldn't get the job then, and you're 30 years older now. Yes, you're older and maybe wiser and more experienced, but you're older. You know, are you going to be able to physically do the things that are required to be on presidential duty? He said duty, you know, at your age, kind of a thing, right? KJ is here. Kinley Jackson in the box. Hello, hello. Good to see you. I think I saw Wiley Metz as well. Where are you, Wiley? There you are. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well down there in Montana land. Odin's Raven is here. Howdy, howdy. So yeah, it was a great role. Newim's here. Good to see you, Newim. Howdy. Great role for him at this point in his career, because you kind of believe that he's getting a little old to be jogging for miles beside the presidential limousine in some motorcade. But he's not old enough yet to be put out to pasture. So as a character, he's not super deep, but at least they work the complexities of that a little bit in the movie. And it plays well because John Malkovich's character is much younger. And as a result, there's a bit of a cat and mouse. Because again, Clint Eastwood's character has got the experience and, the wisdom, for want of a better term. Anyways, let's see what Wikipedia says quick, fast, in a hurry here. In the Line of Fire, 1993 political action thriller film. They forgot drama. They substituted the word drama for political. Directed by Wolfgang Peterson, starring Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich. Anyway, terrible impression. Sorry. Written by Jeff McGuire, is about a disillusioned, obsessed former CIA operative who plans to assassinate the POTUS and the Secret Service agent who is tracking him. Eastwood's character is the sole remaining active duty, still active on duty Secret Service agent that was on Kennedy's detail in Dallas, Texas at the time of his deletion. Film also stars Dylan McDermott. Oh, yeah, that's right. Gary Cole is in this, too. Ricky Bobby's daddy, y'all. John Mahoney. Oh, yeah, this guy. He's an actor, but he was like a senator. Yeah, he was senator from Tennessee from 94 to 2003. And he's an attorney. This guy's got the plates he's spinning there. John Mahoney, there he is. There's Fraser's daddy. So it was co-produced by Columbia Pictures, Castle Rock, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, $187 million budget. Oh, it grossed 100. I was going to say, that's a lot of money back then. No, it cost $40 million and it made $187 million. 3 nominations at the Academy Awards. Huh. I wonder what it was nominated for. I mean, we don't really need to go that deep into the weeds. It's not really pertinent. Perhaps for John Malkovich's performance. So the plot is, as we know, he learns in a routine investigation that a mysterious man who calls himself Booth, as in John, is planning to assassinate the POTUS, who's unnamed in the film. Yeah, the character has a name in the credits, but they don't actually say President so-and-so in the movie, which is weird. Booth soon makes a phone call to Horgan and reveals he knows Horgan's history. Basically, he's taunting him. There's where the cat and mouse thing comes into play, because he's taunting him that he failed to prevent the assassination of JFK. Obsessed with his failure and tormented by feelings of guilt, Horgan has become a cynical, loveless alcoholic. But now he requests to be assigned to protect the current president. His co-worker is the playful but businesslike Lily Raines. Booth continues to call Horgan from time to time, even though he knows that his calls are being traced. Calls from public telephones, allows his calls to be traced, but escapes before the Secret Service can arrest him. He needles Horgan for his failure to protect Kennedy, and calls him but also calls him a friend. Yeah, he's a little bit cuckoo in the old noggin, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's always a drunkard, right? It's always a washed up, bitter old drunkard. Well, because he's guilty. He's guilty for his failure, you see. That's what it is, I guess. Uh-oh. Kathy brought in the box. Says, I could go back to sleep too. Are you tuckered? Hope you're doing all right, Kathy. Good to see you. Oh, there's another siren in the distance. That one's the police. That one's the popo, as the children say. So Booth escapes Horrigan, and at one site, he palm print on a passing car. So the FBI matches the print, but because the person's identity is classified, yeah, he's former CIA apparently, the agency chooses not to disclose it to the Secret Service. We'll just let the president get whacked. It's fine. It'll be fine. These things work themselves out. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine. That seems like a major plot hole to me, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that seems like it's crazy. No?
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
Pretty sure they wouldn't do that. Anyway. The FBI does, however, notify the Central Intelligence. So they notify the CIA, who's not supposed to have anything to do with domestic stuff. It's all just foreign stuff, supposedly. So the FBI warned the CIA, but they don't inform the Secret Service, who's actually in charge of protecting the president. It seems fine. It's it's probably pretty close to real life because it's all shady. It's super shady, I guess because John Malkovich's character is a former agent. It's gone rogue or whatever. So Horrigan learns that the assassination is in fact, or the assassin is in fact Mitch Leary, a skilled deleter who used to work for the CIA, but suffered a mental breakdown and is now a predator seeking revenge on his former masters. He's gone cuckoo. The cheese has slid off the cracker, people. Leary is wealthy and tech savvy. Of course, otherwise you can't be an evil genius or a Bond villain or something in that ilk. You're not independently wealthy and or tech savvy. You ever seen a broke hobo or a wino try to pull something like this off? No, it's not going to happen. Not at all. But an independently wealthy, tech-savvy, crazy person, now you got something. So he's able to mold a zip gun out of composite material. He basically has a 3D printer so as to evade metal detectors, and he can carry 2 small bullets past a metal detector concealed in a key ring ornament. Yeah, a lucky rabbit's foot. He's able to unscrew it and put 2 small bullets in there and then screw it back on, and it's his keychain, which you put in a basket when you go through the metal detector. So that's how he gets his, that's pretty clever, actually. He's therefore in position to carry a functional pistol into a fundraising event at which the president is scheduled to speak in person to the donors. Yada, yada, yada. And again, I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds on the plot or comparing in the theme of the movie of comparing what Clint Eastwood's character is trying to prevent to what happened with JFK and the similarities and the parallels, because the movie does that for us. And I would closely agree to that 7 out of 10 rating on IMDb. I would say it's 6.5, 7. Yeah. It's a good movie, not fantastic. It's not going to blow your socks off. It's not $1 Million Baby. It's not The Outlaw Josie Wales. But it's good. It's very good. Oh, yeah. Mice and Men. Malkovich. Malkovich is very good. That I think's my favorite. Jane, Plain Spoken Jane says Unforgiven. I think that's my favorite of his. It's for sure my favorite Western of his. It really takes its time building up the scene, the scenario, the story, the characters. The kid who's like half blind in it, he's really good. Everybody's good. Got the Gene Hackman, God rest his soul. But I really like Gran Torino as well, Channel 53. I agree with you. That's probably one of my favorite of his that's a non-Western. Although I do like the Dirty Harry movies, you know, Sudden Impact and all that. Those are great as well. I do like those. I cannot tell a lie. Anyway, as mentioned, links below for the IMDb and the Wikipedia. This is a site I found here. It's a blog. It's movietourist.blogspot.com. Again, links below. This is a nice little scene comparison, a sort of a then and now, giving addresses and so on. And so I thought this was great when I found this, because it does highlight quite a few of the buildings that I want to do the little Google Man drop down on. I mean, these are glorious, but I mean, you know, we've seen, I'm sure somebody somewhere in our community has done bazillions of videos of these Capitol buildings, like the Treasury building and so on. We're going to look more at, again, the stuff that popped up that I really noticed in the background. These are much more obvious, right? But when it's, you know, just stuff like this in the background when Clint Eastwood's walking down the sidewalk, you know, or buildings like these buildings here, you know what I'm saying? Although I do think we're going to take a stroll down this street because it's got the old post office here. The one that really jumped out at me was we were about halfway into the movie. And, you know, the tension is really starting to ramp up. Clint Eastwood's character seems to now be gaining ground on catching John Malkovich's character, Booth. And there's a pursuit. I think it starts off on foot and ends with car pursuit or vice versa. But anyways, at some point, they pull up to this building right here. And of course, why wouldn't that stick out like a sore thumb to a guy with a turret and a conical dome on it? And then this rounded here, not to mention just all the other details and so on and so forth. Here it is in the movie. Here it is present day. So that's the one that really was like, what in the Sam Steele was this? Again, you know, the Capitol buildings and the Treasury building and the White House. I mean, we see those all the time, right, on the news or whatever. But stuff like this, you know, there's even a few interesting things in the background on the rooftop scene that they alluded to in the IMDb, where Clint Eastwood's hanging off the edge at one point, and he did his own stunt for that. And it's not so much these in the background, these marvelous buildings. Again, there's hundreds of videos out there from other channels that have done a fantastic job on this stuff. But it's these that just sort of, what's that expression that red letter media says all the time? Maybe you didn't notice, but your brain did. You know what I mean? These are just so obvious, but these are a little bit more obscured, which is, here we go again, which is kind of the theme of the series on the live show here. You know, these are some of the buildings that they were running along the rooftops of in the scene where Clint is hanging off the edge here, because they're actually at one point jumping from one to the other. Obviously, we don't need to look at these monstrosities. What else we got here? Absolute Power, Dirty Harry. Yeah, those are fantastic. Fantastic. But yeah, so it's stuff like this in the background that, and these days, not a lot of people would even notice these. These are just uh, sort of background white noise that just blends as these are to us. You know, like when this is in the background of a movie, I'm not like, oh wow, look at that. That's not the first thing I think. When I see this in the background of a movie, that's the type of thing that I think, oh wow, look at that. So again, link below for this. It's actually very interesting. And he's done a whole bunch of different movies. And again, we're not going to worry so much about, the White House, the Treasury building, stuff like that. We might think we could potentially walk around this a little bit because there's quite a few buildings here that aren't as in your face as some of the government buildings. This one definitely too. This is just, a bar and a hotel that Clint Eastwood's character, because he's a surly old drunk, likes to hang out in. But look at this beautiful entrance. So yeah, we'll drop the man down and have a look at that too. But again, we're not going to worry so much about stuff like the Treasury. We're more concerned of the quote unquote everyday stuff that just melts for most people into the background. But for folks like us, it really jumps out and hits us over the head. So again, link below for that, movietouristblogspot.com. What do you say we start here with the first little clip that I've pulled from the film itself? And this is where Frank is investigating Booth's apartment building. He's got his first lead. The landlady, John Malkovich's character. I'm just going to, from now on, refer to Clint Eastwood as Frank and John Malkovich as Booth. But anyways, Frank is investigating Booth's apartment because the landlord has called the authorities, the cops, because she's gone in there, the landlady, to do something. Anyways, she went in there and found some weird stuff on the wall, a bunch of newspaper clippings and stuff plastered all over one wall with pictures of Frank and pictures of Kennedy and pictures of the current president and all kinds of crazy stuff. Maps of Washington and the whole bit. So she's concerned. She calls the cops. The cops call the Secret Service. Secret Service sends Frank to investigate. So this is kind of his first little, his foot in the door to kicking off the investigation and his first lead. It's not a long clip. It's just a half a minute or so. But while he's poking around in Booth's apartment, Booth is on the outside at the street. It's nighttime. So he's just kind of lurking in the shadows, watching through a pair of binoculars. He's watching Frank through the window. Anyway, quit yakking about it and show it. Okay, I'm just going to pause it here so you can see what I'm talking about. Right away in my head, as we were sitting watching this, me and my brother, as soon as that scene clicked over like it did just now, where it goes from an interior shot of Clint Eastwood snooping around to this exterior shot at night, the thought that popped into my head is, holy moly, will you look at these? Again, they're not the largest. They're not the most embellished. But even said, they are exquisite examples of more modest old world buildings that everyday folks just don't even appreciate or even notice anymore, whether it's in real life walking down the street or in a movie or in a television show, in a rock video, I don't know. And of course, I would agree, Baha, the condition of these, because Booth is a former CIA and he's gone rogue and he's on the lam and he's kind of a little bit a few fries short of a Happy Meal. They want to push the idea that he's living out on the fringes and he's not going to be living in the best neighborhoods, right? And of course, these older buildings are always purposely driven towards neglect so that they can be condemned, and then they, oh darn, it caught fire. Oh, we got to tear it down. Whatever the case may be, Grub Yuppie in the box looks like a San Francisco neighborhood. Yeah, and you would think, oh, it's Clint Eastwood movie. It's going to be filmed in San Francisco, but no, this is in Washington, D.C. All these locations, if I'm not mistaken, as far as I know, from what I could tell, are all in Washington, D.C. At least all the locations that were going to drop the man down. We might have some stuff that was maybe filmed on a back lot or something like that, or on a set. But oh, that's right. Any Which Way You Can and Every Which Way But Loose. I totally forgot about those. Those were pretty good too, They were just kind of fun, goofy action comedies. Yeah. Good call. Wow. It really takes me back. I don't think Clint made a bad movie. None that jump out at me. I mean, I'm sure there might be one or two. I'm sure, and obviously some are better than others, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever made anything that's been absolutely horrific. Space Cowboys was it was kind of like a buddy comedy, I think. Yeah, because, right, that was Eastwood, right? That was Clint Eastwood. Who else was in that? Tommy Lee Jones and Morgan Freeman or somebody? I don't even remember. Anyways, let's keep it rolling here. Of course, as he's sliding further back into the shadows so as not to be noticed, you could see he's standing in front of an old brick wall there. It's obviously the side of another old building. He's kind of either in an alleyway or he's in front of an old brick building that's across. I mean, he's across the street either way, but he's either in front of the building or in an alley or something. So let's drop the guy down and see what's going on with those places there. Let me open up the goggle machine to the maps. And I've got these places kind of sort of bookmarked, but I'm not sure if I have them in the correct order here. So bear with me. We'll see what is what. No, that's not it. Bear with me for just a moment here. Here we are. Yes, 402 H Street in Northeast in Washington. It's a strange name for a street, but anyhow. Sorry, excuse me. All right, let me pull that up for you. Just having getting into it here. So let's close this goofy side panel. There we go. So this is where Frank was standing when he was being watched. Let's see if I can find a date where the tree isn't obscuring that other building, although we can walk the guy down a bit. Ah, there we go. So we've almost got the same POV as Booth. So here's that other building. It's very interesting up here. Some kind of medallion that's blank. Interesting little effect. I'm sure this was a portal. Probably having some problems with moisture incursion in here, so they've got it all, I don't know, tarped up or some kind of crappy jump. Who knows? Looks like when you drive a Jeep and your spare tire on the back, you got a cover over it, you know? It's pretty crappy, especially when you compare it to the mansard style roof here with the nice curve and all the scallop work. Again, not the biggest or the baddest on the block, but a lovely old building. And I would say today, in nicer shape than what we saw in the movie, this looks like it could be copper or brass. If you're a local in the Washington, D.C. area, let me know. They've removed a little brass platform here. Oh, of course, you got to have your freaking flag there for some reason. Oh, like, why? Like, why? Who cares? Well, you got to have the... You're ruining the whole building with that.
Ha! Gay!
Anyway. It's beautiful. It's got to be some kind of metal. I would guess, right? Channel 53 says got to be copper with that green patina. Yeah, I would say probably, right? Because brass actually doesn't turn green, does it? Brass turns more brown? Is that right? I don't know. Ross has got a good eye for spotting iron and copper. And of course, brick. He's like a brick hound. You send that guy loose on Kansas City, he's gonna find some red brick, man. You can sniff them out like they're truffles. We got this around here. Got mansard window here, at one time above here. So somebody's fixed it up. I mean, it's still could use a little TLC, but it's in way better shape. What's this way up here? I didn't even notice. Oh, of course. Gotta have your little curly cues with looks like some kind of floral design and whatever this is. I don't know. Nice inlay in it. I'm gonna guess it's either glazed terracotta or porcelain or something like that, or it's maybe limestone because you've got some keystones and details here. Just noticing the light fixture too. Quite nice. Maroon brown. Yes. Okay. That's kind of what I thought. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Freaking flags everywhere these days, man. You can't hit cat without hitting what I agree, Grubby Uppy. A mind control flag, yeah. This looks like it's been fixed up nicely too. You can see it goes all the way down the street. You know, they're small, they're modest, but they're lovely. You can tell at one time this was a nice, you know, old world section of town. You know, combination of commercial, residential. They probably, it looks like they still have a tram. So I bet you there was at one time an old trolley that went through here too. An old tram streetcar system. It's down here. Oh, we got down here. Look at these beauties. Various states of repair or disrepair, but quite lovely. And I will agree or reiterate the comment that it's very San Francisco looking. This is the kind of thing that you'd see In San Francisco, it seems a lot. These townhomes, for lack of a better term, that are butt up next to each other more often than not, but each one's slightly different. It's not like they're identical, really. Even these here have different little details on them. And it's hard to see with the foliage. You get what I'm saying? We do have some of these close, just in the adjacent neighborhood of Connaught, in the Beltline area. Yeah, look at these. Go up here. Yeah, I hate nowhere to park the Torino. That's the thing. Unless you have a back lane, a lot of these places maybe had an old coach house that you could convert into a garage, maybe. I don't know. I've never been to DC. I've never been to Washington, DC. I've been to Washington State, the other side there, the other side of the continent, but I've never been to DC before. These are really nice little. The brickwork here, the arches. Excuse me. Again, it's not like it's nothing we haven't already seen, but this is not the first thing that might pop into a guy's head when you think, oh, Washington, D.C. for their old world structures, their old world architecture. You know, you do think of, or at least me, for the most part, I think of like the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, of course, the White House, Treasury Building, oh, you know, all those old government buildings. You got some newer stuff here, probably some post WW2 stuff maybe mixed in. You can usually tell the older stuff though, because even the mud-flooded windows have arches. Because if you're going to take the time to build some windows like this that are only, you know, a quarter of the size, that lets in all kinds of dirt and debris and mud and water, depending where in the country, potentially ice and snow. Yeah, you're going to want to make them fancy as the rest of the windows. You know, and then eventually brick them in. But you can usually tell, and then you can tell from the brickwork. You know, like Giuseppe just stacking a brick like a molto pazzo, capito? Crazy, very crazy. You know, a seashell above the door. You know, really nice. Again, modest, but all that extra work for, you know, a home. I could see it on the state buildings, federal buildings, all kinds of government buildings. Your post office, maybe, and I don't know, sure, stuff like that. But you know, every residential building within a 10-mile radius. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. And they are similar too. Orphan Annie says, I also like the brownstones in New York City. And these of a similar style. My first exposure to brownstones in New York City was Sesame Street. You know, the building that Gordon and Susan and Ernie and Bert lived in. Well, let's face it, I think pretty much almost everybody in Sesame Street lived in that building. You know, where they would all loiter on the front stoop. Anyway, let's have a look at the next one here, the next video clip. This is where Frank, he's walking home alone at night from sort of, you know, the end of one of his long days of pursuit and investigation. But unbeknownst to him, he's being followed. Let's have a look here. Now, unfortunately, this is at night, so we don't see it very well. But just to the left on the sidewalk there, as Frank is making his way up the street. First of all, it's super sloped street, really slanted. But you can see where there's stairs that go up to what is, I guess, supposed to be the main floor. But then there's stairs that go down and go underneath as well. Much like the buildings that we saw in Remo Williams that we did a few months back for this very series, The Old World on Celluloid. And that was, in fact, in New York City. So again, apologies because it is dark. It's a night scene, but we'll have a closer look. Look out, man. Look out, Clint Eastwood. Look out, man. Let me pull that up on the goggle machine, because that one is actually, I think it's not far from the first place that we looked at. Again, these are all, excuse me, these are all filmed in the same area, what have you. Same locations. That's the word I'm looking for. I've never worked on a movie set, so I'm not too familiar with all the lingo, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Locations. They got a location scout and like, oh, that can be so-and-so's building, the headquarters for this, that, the other, what have you, right? Sorry, I'm just opening up the maps again on the goggle machine. So we've got, I believe this is Frank's Street here, I think. No, excuse me. Bear with me. I just want to make sure I'm not that it matters much, I guess, but I like to keep it in the proper order. So just bear with me here for a second. I quickly get my poop in a group.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
All right, I think I found it. Yes, it looks that way. Let me just get the right POV, as they say. No, that's not it either. Dang it. Sorry, folks. Give me a second here. Bear with me. Yes, here we go. Okay, I've got it. Sorry about the delay here. There we go. So this is where Frank crosses the street and he's walking up here. So as you can see, the street, first of all, is super soft. Again, looking very San Francisco-ish. But you've got to go up, what do we got here? 9 steps to get up to this quote-unquote main floor. Then there's stairs going down and there's openings down underneath here. You've got a window and with a big header and then another header with a door. Some of them are much more obvious, like this one. And there's another door under here. And it's not like it was an afterthought and just punched in after the fact, because it's got the header that matches all the other, I don't know, whatever that is, limestone, sandstone, or whatever. Because, we are not capable of tomfoolery and faking stuff like that. Sure, we've all seen examples of the type of work, generally speaking, that we do. It's half-assed and crappy and falls apart and it doesn't stand the test of time. You can see here's all kinds of crazy angles for these stairs just to get up to these upper doors, which happen to be the same as the windows. So were these at one time, these doors here, did they end at this point of delineation here? And was this converted into a door? It could have always been a door, maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking this was the original door. And this used to be a window. Oh, look, yieldy ladder lean. Isn't that nice? Let's see what else is going on up Frank Street here. Oh, yes, of course. Gonna have the seashell motif, fan portals. Look at this. Come on, man. Beautiful. Oh, leaded glass as well. Phil Henry's here. Good to see you, bud. Hello, hello. That's kind of what it looks like, right? That a lot of that stuff was added so you could gain multiple access points. Either that or the stairs were added to get into the place, and then later on it was excavated and revealed. Oh, whoops. What we thought was a basement wasn't the basement. It was the original first floor. What do we got here? Oh, what's this thing? Wow, this thing's a behemoth. Beauty, though. Again, all these lower points of egress. Now you got some. These are very familiar. Gotta have Aladdin's lamp for some reason. Why Aladdin's lamp? I don't know. Pinwheels, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. To mention stendal molting detail. Really beauty. It's big, but it's nice. Oh, of course. There you go. My uncle, who's Greek, says that's a Greek symbol and it represents the waves of the Mediterranean. But wow, this thing is exquisite, man. Look at this. Scrubbed cartouche there. It's a lovely place. Look at this entryway. You could just see how at one time you would pull up with your horse-drawn coach. You get out. This was probably, maybe it was a hotel. Maybe it was always some kind of apartment. I don't know. What a lovely old place, man. No idea what this place is called. Beautiful, though. Urns, all kinds of blank crests and cartouches. It's a lovely place. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, got another one here with some low windows. See, this neighborhood is not nearly as sketchy as the other neighborhood. Oh, yeah, mansard roof. Another great grand entrance here. Of course, they got to ruin it with a crappy awning. Get this truck out of the way. Look at this. Hello. My, oh my. Letter R? Is that an R or a K? Looks like an R. Look, it's got a little terrace here. Everybody's got a little terrace. Then you get a little bijou balcony if you don't have a terrace. Looks like it might have some rooftop stuff going on up here. This place is nice, man. Another big one here. Look at this back here. This is like some old-timey square or something. And again, I bet you the trolley or the tram used to come through here. I would agree. Orphan Annie says, oh my, what a wonderful world. Yeah. I see trees of green, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Columbia Road, Washington, D.C. Amazing. It's like we walked into a Mother Goose fairy tale picture book. Look at even this, man. And look, brick. They just paved over the brick. Look at this, Ross. They just painted over brick roads here, brick streets. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Let's not get too crazy. There's still a couple more locations to have a look at here. Looks like old Louisville. Yeah. Looks like part of old Calgary, too. And again, at this point, we're shocked but not really surprised, or surprised but not shocked. We're surprised but not surprised. You know what I mean? At this point in time, it's like it could be pretty much almost doesn't matter where it is. You're going to see a lot of the same architectural designs, structures, and they've been designated with, the same purposes. Oh, that's a school. Oh, that's a post office. Oh, that's a city hall. Oh, that's a state capitol building, or whatever. And then we say, yeah, well, yeah, but how can it be the same thing in, I don't know, Toledo, Ohio, as there is in Osaka, Japan? We say, oh, well, it's influences of once trade routes opened up during the Industrial Revolution, and, the culture started influencing one another. Really? But the build date on that says, 1899, and the build date on that one says 1772. So, a couple of 100 years separating, a few thousand miles separating. I don't know. Anyways, with that, I think we're going to take a mid-show break here. And this, I present to you with heavy heart, is the last, for the time being anyways, the last video with the soundtrack by our friends, the Canadian band, the power trio from Hamilton, Ontario, up here, Canadian land. Our friend Dragon Sage and his band, the Sex Witch. It's the last song from their album. Over the past couple of months, I've been creating little videos with old-timey film footage and syncing it up to various songs from the Sex Witch's debut self-titled album. And we've gone through all of them. This is the very last one, until they put out their second album, which they're already working on. But until then, what we have here, this is the Sex Witch. 1930s, Washington, D.C., just over 3 minutes long. The song is called The World Right, like a playwright, W-R-I-G-H-T, like a playwright, but World Right, The World Right, by the Sex Witch. 1930s, Washington, D.C. See you on the other side of 3 minutes. Stick around. I'll be right back. Cheers. All right, and we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Thank you very much for shooting in, joining me here for another one, another live one, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live, episode 182 here today. Sunday, August 2nd, just about 6:15 p.m. local time. Thank you very much for shooting in and joining me here. Appreciate it. Thanks for winding down your weekend with yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day Show. Woo! If you're enjoying this show so far, please make sure you let a guy know, give a thumbs up, do all the things, all the YouTube things. Greatly appreciate that. If you like that type of thing that we just saw, the old-timey vintage footage, please check out my second channel, New West Rewind. Every Saturday, I upload vintage footage videos set to music, usually Canadian content, but not exclusively. That goes up every Saturday. Now, if you're watching this after the live, thank you very much as well for all of your support. Greatly appreciated. That's the best way to support the channels. Leave me a comment and thumbs up, all the stuff that a million other channels ask you to do a million times. But thanks for being here. It's my favorite day of the week. Get to spend it with great folks like Ryan. Good to see you, bud. Wiley Metz and Kathy Broughton. A sexy sandwich. Another word for a threesome, a sex witch. Like, hey, ladies, shall we make a sex witch? No, it's like definitely means sex sandwiches, says Ryan. It is a great song. I think that's my favorite track on the album. I don't know. They're all so good. They're all really good. It's in the top 3. It's really hard to pick. It's definitely a banger, though. That's for sure. But I agree, hippie. Good to see you as always. Plain Spoken Jane is in the box as well. Good to see you. Thank you, all of you. Grub Yuppies here. It actually is like, she's a witch, like a witchy woman, like the Eagles song, witchy woman, witchy woman. Ooh, ooh, witchy woman, She got the night in her eyes. I can't hit those high notes like Don Henley and Glenn Fry and all them's. You've run into bricks with reflective paint on them, Ross? That's Ross who watered the tree channel, by the way. I'm not surprised you run into bricks with all kinds of stuff on them. You must be the world heavyweight champion of finding stamped bricks too there, bud. Gotta be. It's amazing. A few, but it's not every time I go out. I mean, holy moly. Yeah, the entire album is awesome. You can get your grubby paws on your own copy of that album, don't you know? Just head over to that Sex Witch YouTube channel. There's links there where how you can order, how you could purchase your very own copy on vinyl. I think it's digital download too. I think there's both, if I'm not mistaken. You can also find links for all of that on Dragon Sage's channel as well. So, yes, thank you, hippie. There's the link. You can also find the link below for my New West Rewind channel. I forgot to put the link for Sex Witch, but it'll be in the description if you're watching this after the live. You'll see that there as well. So yeah, thank you. I get bruises when I run into bricks. Don't we all? Don't we all? All right, so on the top half of the show, we got into a little bit behind the theme for the show here, the old world on celluloid. We're looking at the film In the Line of Fire from 1993, starring the great Clint Eastwood, one of my favorite actors and one of my favorite directors. So if it's a Clint Eastwood movie and he's in front and behind the camera, it's a win-win for a fellow like me, you know. It's beauty. We also looked at a couple of film clips with the locations. We've been dropping the little guy down with the goggle machine there on the Google Maps. With that said, let's get into third scene here. 3 out of 4. So we're at the halfway mark here. This is Frank just boozing it up in his favorite bar, and then we'll drop the man down and have a look at exactly where that is. We saw a photo from that other link too, where the guy did the before and after comparisons, different clips and scenes from the movie.
Frank, you got a phone call?
He's at this bar so often that people know that they can reach him at the bar. If they just call the bartender will answer and they can ask for Frank. And not only will A, the bartender know who it is, but B, Frank will be there. Meanwhile, look at the inside of this place. This is a classy joint. This is way too classy for a bitter old, washed up, has-been drunkard like Frank's character here. Oh, stumbling a little bit there. Maybe he had one too many glasses of giggle water. Yeah, it's lovely. You know, when you get the brass and the red crushed velvet and the, you know, the glass shelves in the back with the, depending on what shelf it is, depends on the hierarchy of the booze. You know, the lights in there, and of course, all of the beautiful woodwork and millwork in there. I mean, this kind of place, you probably don't need a bouncer. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of shenanigans and jackasses coming in here messing up the place. You know, there's not a lot of bar fights and stuff.
Shenanigans.
Uh-oh. Don't know what happened there. Can you hear me? Hello? Testing 1, 2. Yeah, red Naugahyde or something like that. Maroon Corinthian leather. Let me try this. See if that helps a little bit. In fact, I could even do this. Yeah, why not? All right, let's continue with the scene here.
Yeah.
Frank, you look so sad on that bus. I mean, I'm sorry. It was self-defense.
Big long bar. It's curved like that. It's nice. Oh, thank you, Jane. Plain Spoken Jane says 5 by 5. Thank you. I used to know people like this. What, they would spend so much time. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Steve's a friendly troll, so we don't put him in timeout or nothing. He's just playing. He just likes to clown and goof. It's fine.
Tell me about Skellum.
You're barking up the wrong tree, Frank. Skellum's worthless.
You could have made him in LA.
It's late in the game, and you're way behind, Frank.
I'm way ahead. Look, Larry, I know what you look like. I've seen your eyes.
Oh, my eyes might look different next time.
Not what's behind them won't. You better pray I don't find you, you prick.
Ooh, poop mouth there, Clint. The poop mouth. My goodness. Yeesh. Yikes. Yeah, that's how you say hi. Yeah. Bradley Johnson. Howdy. I wonder if you have to walk down to enter the bar. It's a good question. I don't know. We'll have a look at the outside of the building here right now. I'm not entirely sure. It's a fancy bar in a fancy, not sure if it's a hotel or if it's one of those combination apartment hotels. You know what I'm saying? It's actually a bar and grill. Let's see here. Drop the fellow down and line it up. Did you see this building, by the way? Just got to find the entrance. There we go. There she is in all her glory. Try this again. See if that helps any and I don't drop out. So the old Ebbet Tavern. Here. Let's see if I can get a closer view here. That's a bit better. The lighting isn't as good. Look at this nonsense. You kidding me? My, oh my. I mean, not to mention just overall, but I mean, we got to start somewhere. We might as well start with the brass doors with all of this detail above. Again, I'm guessing that's brass. You got some nice pillars here with capitals supporting this archwork with your keystone. More capitals here. Of course, you know, a lot of the familiar symbology, shells or florals and curlicues, the meaning of which I do not know. I don't know the meaning behind these symbols. I wish I did. Got something that's blank here. You've got almost like a garland of something. What is going on up here? Faces in these flowers, it looks like, maybe. I saw these exact same things on that other building, too, prior to the mid-show break. Mind you, you see those everywhere as well. These are blank. Nice little detail under the windowsill here. Street level is kind of uneven. It dips down here. And then it continues to slope, of course. This is obviously, I don't know, some fancy schmancy apartment or hotel, or I don't know, but it is. Sorry about that. The weather has been crazy with the winds and the fires and the tornadoes and whatnot. You got all these dormers here. Again, you got some kind of green metallic. It's like brass or whatever. Copper, I should say. Copper, excuse me. Look at this. It's insane. Huge. And that's not even anything yet. Let's have a look at the main entrance. We were just looking at the main entrance of the tavern or the grill, bar and grill. See here, you get these massive columns. It's sort of an upper terrace here, it looks like. The Metropolitan Third Avenue. Okay. Metropolitan Third Avenue, is that what that says? It's very hard to read. 3AV E, maybe. I don't know. Oh, look at these. I just noticed these crazy little guys. DC Monuments Tour. Huh. That'd be kind of neat. I mean, they would indoctrinate you with the same old nonsense, but it'd be a nice way to get around to check out the old world structures anyways. This building's beautiful. I mean, around every door is just complete nonsense. Look at all this. National Metropolitan something or other. Okay. See if we can. Nope. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not know exactly what it is. I'm sure if I clicked on it, it would label it. Let's see. Nope. Old world golf carts. Maybe. Let's take a stroll around, and there's the Washington Monument in the background. I think that's the Treasury building, maybe. Much of a residential area here. It's definitely a lot more of the commercial, financial district, but impressive nonetheless. Nonetheless, excuse me. They love lions here. What's going on? Lions and Lego. National Press Building. I just saw this, but I think that's a different building. Yeah, it is. Wow. You're talking. What in the Sam Steel is this? Oh, it is the National Press. So it's probably the original, and then they expanded it, and then they eventually joined it to this building. I don't know, but what are you talking about, man? What do we have here? What does this have to do with the National Press? Some lady here, and then some kind of merman, or I don't know. This is crazy. I'm like, it keeps going. Oh, look, they didn't scrub that one. They left their symbology on that one, plain as the nose on your face. I agree, Kathy. Kathy Broaden says that's a beautiful building. Yeah. Ross just sums it up in one word right there. Wow. I have not. Orphan Annie asking Frankie, have you noticed the But now you're giving me something to keep an eye on. Definitely giving me something to keep an eye on. I mean, look how puny and stupid this entryway looks compared to the rest of this thing. There is no entranceway. It looks like the entire main entryway would be below ground, and they just bashed in this part and put some shitty doors in here. You know what I mean? I mean, is it me, or like, because this is just off the charts, man. Like, I don't even get it.
That doesn't make sense.
Anyway, it's been all day looking at that place, man. Just zipped past something here, or I should say the goggle machine made me run past this. Why would you do that to me, goggle? Yeah, I know why. You don't want me to look at it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this thing. There's one like this in Calgary called the Doll Building. And it was a guy who owned, I think it was a jeweler's, I think, a jewelry store, or he was a jeweler's, or both, jewel smith and a jewelry store, you know. Look at this. Come on, man. What is all this stuff? There's your green man, or whoever that's supposed to be. And all this nonsense. What if these make a whistling sound if the wind is blowing in a certain direction? If they make like a whoosh, you know? Of course, you could have more lion's heads. Why the hell not, bud? Why even this little guy? You know? This looks like 98th Street in Edmonton. There's one stretch of Edmonton where there's like 5 or 6 old worlders like this all in a row. Some big ones and some little guys all nestled in. Reminds me of that a little bit. All right, let's keep rolling. Holy moly, here's another huge, beautiful bugger. And another one. All right, let's turn down a side street and see what we can see here real quick before we go on to the fourth and final scene here. Anything else in this neighborhood? I'm sure there is. I just don't know it that well. I basically typed in the addresses from that website for a few key scenes and just bookmarked them. Look at this beauty. What's going on here? Man. Oh, come on, man. Quit playing. There we go. Yeah, you gotta have an arch with a pediment inside it over your huge door. Oops. It's a little more like it for the size of the door. And even of Woman in the Arts. Oh, okay. There we go. There's those rosette flowers and Lego again. These aren't scrubbed. This one's got a big cross in it. It's got some kind of design. Yeah, none of these are blank. Huh. Of course, I can't zoom in with enough clarity to see what's in there, though. Oh, and yeah, we might as well finish it off with this. Looks like we have an IV for a 4. Excellent. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Presbyterian church of some sort. There we go. The New York Avenue Presbyterian Church. Ah, look. Doors, and then stairs to go into these doors. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And then you got have stairs going down to get into this door, but then there's a window. And there's a door or something under this. That's ridiculous, man. Come on. Come on, man. What do we have here? All right, this will be the last one on this street because this one is very, very adorned. Look at this. It's pretty unique. Really nice. Wow. I mean, this is all brick underneath this. This is all tile work, right? This is going to be marble tiles and glazed terracotta or marble tiles or porcelain tiles or whatever. But the skin they put over it, that Victorian tart up, man. Something else. All right. That's enough of that one. Let's have a look at our final quick little movie clip here. Now, this is the rooftop scene, the famous rooftop scene where Frank is chasing Booth, and they're running rooftops of these old buildings, jumping, in some cases, from rooftop to rooftop. And then they're being pursued behind by Frank's partner, played by Dylan McDermott. Is that the guy's name? Let's have a look at this one.
Take my hand, Frank. Take it. You don't, you'll die.
What do you do? Grab his hand and he saves you? Or do you pull out your pistol and blast him? But then you fall to your doom. But then you save the president. Sacrifice yourself. I mean, that's, the hero's journey in some sense. Sacrifice yourself as the hero to save the king or the president or the whomever, right?
Take it.
I'm going to play it again because it's really more at the beginning. So you can see the rooftops that they're running along there, and you can see in the background there's the domed building. That's some of the, again, the Capitol buildings and federal buildings.
Take my hand, Frank.
Of course, the building he's hanging from
Take it. You don't, you'll die.
is a building that's an old world building as well, I believe. We're going to have a look at.
Take it.
Yeah, not the Ray-Bans. Don't drop those, man. Don't drop the Ray-Bans there, bud. Bands are expensive now, too. $200 for a pair of sunglasses? Get out of here with that nonsense. $200. Are you crazy? A pair of sunglasses that I'm going to lose or somebody's going to sit on them? Some nonsense like that. Actually, there was one other location aside from those rooftop ones. It's one that I couldn't find a clip for, but it was one that was shown on that website that we looked at the top half of the show. And that's the building with the conical dome. So let me pull that up real quick before we go on to that final scene. I can't even find the blessed thing. Bear with me here. No, that's not it. Where is the dang thing? Ah, yes, there it is. There it is right there. I mean, we've already seen so many incredible structures like this already from just dropping the man down and walking around, but you can see all up the street here as well. All kinds of different fancy old worlders. This is just a beauty. Again, all down this street too. Oh, what's this? Oh, Yeah, let's put a UPS store and a nail bar in this old beauty. What are you talking about? You have a crappy fire escape on the poor gal. And paint the brick, of course. Yuck, but still got a lot of beauty left in it, for sure. Some of these are getting a little bit dodgy. And again, that's done by design. It's done on purpose. Pretty soon these will be knocked down. And then they'll put up some tall, I don't know, crappy condos or something. This place, look at the brickwork on this. Zigzag herringbone. Plugged in their portals for some reason, but some nice brickwork on this. There's some schmutz, phony foundation. It's all busted away and just revealing the red brick. Here, they just didn't even bother trying to keep up with it anymore. Ah, it's busted. Just leave it. It's fine. What building is this? Get out of there, truck. Rento. Okay. Probably condos or apartments or something. Oh, look at that. Nice. Oh my. Pink and purple, eh? Okay. This is nice, though. Except for, way to ruin it with this nonsense. Idiots. Bloody idiots, I tell you. Took me back to the beginning for some reason. Look at these places. Really nice. This, I'd spend the day hanging around here. I know it's like a touristy trap area or whatever, but looks pretty nice. Oh, wow. Looks like it just keeps going on and on. What is this place? Yeah, we could just keep going forever here. Man, oh man. Another little sort of square area. Again, probably trolley went down here and went down here, and here's where it took a turn and some of the lines joined one another. I'm willing to bet dollars to good Canadian donuts there, eh, bud? Wow, what's that down the street? Hold your horses there. Easy. Hold it, Fred. What is this? It's church, National Baptist Church. Take off. Really? Sure. Okay. Why not? And then there's another church / castle. I mean, church. Uh-oh. See? They're letting it get crappy. They're letting it get all crummy. Got all these plates in the ground, low windows. There's a door with stairs going down here behind this gate. Other openings that go down into the sidewalk. What a beauty, though. Kathy says last time I was in DC I was 10 years old. Oh wow, yeah. So like 19 years ago, eh? Nice. Oh, what's this? Another church? Of course. Why not? Because you got to have all your churches around the town square all close to each other. That way, if you're going to church, doesn't matter which denomination you are, you can all hop on the same trolley, I guess. I don't know. Another old beauty, though. Wow. All right. Now let's take a look. at the structures that they were jumping from rooftop to rooftop in that last clip. I don't know why I closed that just to go ahead and reopen it again, but it's fine. Whatever. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Okay, is this it? Yes, indeed. Yeah, here we go. Let's pull this up for you. So this is just a couple of blocks from another location. And this is also on California Street. Get rid of this panel and see if we can get rid of this foliage here a bit. Yeah, it's a bit better. So you've got these two buildings that are side by side that are twins of each other. But it looks like they've got a nice little sort of court. Yeah, they've got a nice courtyard that they share, but they're joined at the back. These are the rooftops that they're running along, is these here. This between these two is where they make that jump. I only have 2 photos of this, and they both are covered in trees. Well, I guess it's better. So this is where Clint Eastwood, in this alleyway or walkway is where he was hanging. These look like nice little apartment buildings. Really great brickwork here. This Harlequin or diamond shape. Looks like there's been some brutalizing or dumbing down of something up here, maybe. Of course, here you see your structural brick and then your facade brick. Little windows even on these little guys too, you know. Let's see what else we can see here. Stacked brick. A crazy looking wide, shallow arch. I've never seen one like that before. Looks like they've removed some stuff from these, maybe. They've probably been dumbed down quite a bit. This one, maybe not so much. Yeah, this one's... Like, why are some of these allowed to keep remnants of their old tech while others are dumbed down? I do not know. You can see here that this one here has, with the facade brick, they've just chosen to make the windows rectangular, but on the sides, they're arched windows here, you see, in the alleyway. Doors down here with big giant stones over them. Doors and windows. Why is this place blurred out? Do not know. There's another nice... They went silly at DC with these conical domes, man. I should have been doing this whole thing in Dave Chappelle voice. Isn't he from DC? Dave Chappelle! From DC, son! Can do the... That's crazy! Oh, look, they took the conical dome off this one. Why would you do that? It's very obviously had one because there's one across the street here, bud. You ain't fooling nobody. Even somebody who's like fast asleep walking down the street, you know, one of the sheeple would be like, hey, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to have a cone on there, bud. Another blocked in portal. Is that your favorite meme, Steve? A lot of people that comment on, hey, I haven't seen the kid yelling racist in a while. You know, so I got to keep it in the rotation. And a lot of folks like that one. This whole area is just amazing too. weird angles. You know, the streets shoot off on weird angles. Again, I'm going to chalk it up to it's probably the trolley. And again, the grid system from how the square and compass guys designed it, or how they say they designed it. So you end up with crazy angled buildings too. Nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. Let's take one last quick little. Oh, yeah, of course. Why not? Amazing. Simply amazing. Again, some are in, you know, but look at this place. That's just somebody's house. It's not even an apartment building, I don't think. Well, maybe it is now, but at one point, this was just a house. Tack on it. Still. It's pretty nice. I was like, what? Pretty fancy there, but what? It's just my house. So what? A bit of damage or discoloration here. What's the sense of putting these in if you're just going to brick them up? You know? What do we got here? Fancy schmancy. And again, it just keeps going on and on. Beautiful. Look at this. Really? Wyoming? Wyoming what? What's Wyoming? Oh, the Wyoming. So it's the name of the building. Okay. What a tiny little exquisite building in amongst all these big giants. What is the deal? That is very unusual. Look how ornate this little thing is. Lion's heads holding up this copper or whatever, like metal anyways. Wow, man. Huh. I am so glad that I decided to, hey, I think I'm going to share with everyone In the Line of Fire with the Clint Eastwood, because that is just, that's, I don't know. That's a hell of a town. I tell you what, yeah, unnecessary detail. You got that right, Ryan. And for everyone that I caught, I'm sure there's dozens and dozens that I missed. So yeah, I would encourage you in some spare time to drop the little guy down on the goggle machine in the Google Maps there and see what's what. Speaking of maps, down below in the link is not only everything that we covered for the show, but my location map. You click on that there, opens up the goggle machine, and my icon pops up, this thing right here. You click on that, and it gives you the link to the Boots on the Ground video for all of those spots on the map. Pretty much done from Edmonton all the way down to Pincher Creek, Alberta, with quite a few stops in between. Most of what you'll see on that map is Calgary, because I do live here in the city. Links below, you will also find, as mentioned, how you can get a hold of me. So if you've got any ideas for a show, or if you just want to send something my way, some photos or video clip that you've taken or something that you found on the goggle machine on maps or whatever, or yeah, send me an email. Let me know. I'd be happy to cover it on your behalf. Yeah, I know. This one does. I know. I should have fixed that. You're right. It does have the wrong 4. My clock. That's why my clock's broken. You see, it's being pulverized. Also, links below. Oh, by the way, my location map is courtesy of Cousin Vinny there. Put a lot of work into that thing, so thank you very much, Cousin Vinny. Because, you know, you get Frankie Fingers. You're going to get some Cousin Vinny, too, over here, eh?
So now you know what I'm talking about with the whole New West Reset thing.
No.
What?
No.
What I said about Frankie Fingers.
Oh.
that Frankie
Oh,
Fingers
yeah.
a New West Reset of the Sand.
Wait, what? Howdy, Morgan. Good to see you, bud. Hello, hello. Behind about a month or so. Oh, geez. You don't need to apologize, bud. It's totally fine. A lot of places that I've been looking at in the last few videos, I would say, let's say, I don't know, 6 out of the last 10 are places that are revisits that I've already visited. Folks have sent me an email or commented and said, hey, Frankie, check out that place. I haven't seen that in a long time. You know, now that I've got the better phone with the better camera, and now that I have the gimbal, so that, and, you know, I can zoom in and steady stuff a little better. I'm going back and revisiting some stuff. So, yeah, come on, man. You're doing me a huge favor. You don't need to apologize to me there, bud. Anyway, getting ready to wind this thing down here very shortly. Again, links below for my New West Rewind, my second channel, with all the vintage footage set to music. Everything from the 1890s, roughly, to the 1940s. Links below as well for, as mentioned, BitChute and that green fighting platform over on the Rumble. So don't forget to follow me or join me over on those platforms as well, just in case, you know. And of course, as mentioned, Instagram, having a good time over there, sharing photos and quick little video clips of stuff that I find when I'm oot and about. And last but not least, if you would like to donate to the channel, there's a link for PayPal down below as well. Certainly not necessary, but greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And if you send your address, your mailing address, and what size you wear along with that donation, I'll send you a t-shirt, send you a New West Reset t-shirt, which also has said logo on it. Or I'll send you a Schmutz trucker hat. You know, because, you know, all that schmutz that we see with those phony foundations. But it's certainly not necessary to donate. I do appreciate it if you do choose to make a donation. It does go back to the channel. That's how I got that gimbal, which I'm actually about ready to get another new gimbal, because this one's seen a few years already. It's gotten put to good use. I've already purchased a new keyboard and a new mouse over the years. So yes, thank you, everybody, for all of your support. And don't forget, every Friday, boots on the ground here on the channel. As mentioned, every Saturday over on New West Rewind, the vintage footage. And then every Sunday back here for the live show. What's coming up next week for the live? I don't even know. I'm not even entirely sure yet. I got a couple of irons in the fire. So, you know, keep your ocular sphericals glued onto the channel here to see what's coming up. Of course, as mentioned, down the road in the next couple of weeks, the director's cut re-upload of my mudflood documentary, Reset 1700, that YouTube pulled and gave me a strike for, as well as some other topics that I'm working on behind the scenes. So, you know, if you do all the things down here and hit the notifications that don't work, yeah, I'll try to keep you posted. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the live show. And, you know, these looks into the old world on celluloid, the old world in music. It's a little bit of a fun, slight deviation. We can kind of look at things through the lens of the entertainment industry, pop culture. And as mentioned at the top of the show, I'm sure if you're anything like me, you can almost hardly watch anything anymore without noticing hints of the old world in the background. And In the Line of Fire from 1993 there in Washington, D.C. was no different. Before I go, I like to leave things on a bit of a lighter note and share some funny little, I don't know, YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, funny little things. You know, like to leave you laughing, if you see what I'm saying. See what I can find here. What have I bookmarked? Some of these are just too much, man.
When I came down.
Poor guy.
When I came down.
I guess he had the wind knocked out of
Ahora
him.
te voy a atacar, sí, ataque. Ahí va, yo bloqueo. Bloqueo, paso por abajo y en. ¡Ay, no, no, no! Ya, cruz, ahí. Ay, no, 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 no. Yo te digo cuándo atacar porque si no, no puedo hacer. Ataca ahora. Yo
That's
decido.
too much.
Atacar, sí, ataque. Ahí va, yo bloqueo.
Friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there. I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head. So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't. And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter. Friend John.
What's that behind your ear, mate? Look at that. I don't know. What is that?
Boom!
Oh, hey! Now you really want to impress me, do it with a chicken nugget. Then
Okay, that's enough of that. See the look on that guy's face when he busted out the chicken nugget, man? Come on, man. All right, enough goofing around. It's time to get out of here. That's going to do it. Thank you very much. That's going to seal the deal here today for Frankie. New West Reset, New West Reset Live, episode 182. The Old World on Celluloid, where we looked at In the Line of Fire, 1993 film starring Clint Eastwood. We checked out a bunch of the buildings that just jumped out at me in the background when I was watching the thing a couple of weeks ago. I'm very happy to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. All right? Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.